Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today as we continue to pursue the Lord in our 40 days of prayer and fasting. In a previous video, I was talking about the struggles that you and I have with distractions when it comes to our time with the Lord. The things that I hit on in that devotion really were external things of technology, conversations, noises, visual things that happen around us that seem to pull our attention away from the Lord. Today, I just want to take a moment to hit on what is probably the genesis or the foundation of all of our struggles in relationship to how we spend time with the Lord. And it's the thing that we call desire. Now that's hard to say because in another way of saying it, it would sound like this. The reason I don't pray is because I don't want to. Now, no one wants to say that. But you know what? If we're honest, that really is the beginning point. I spend time with the Lord when I want to, and when I don't want to, I don't. David kind of hit on this very thing when he wrote in his journal in Psalm chapter 27, verse 4. And this is how he said it. He said, "One thing have I desired of the Lord, and that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple." Three quick things that I noticed that David says here. The first thing is desire. He uses that word, desire. And he's saying, I have longed for, I deeply want to have time in the presence of the Lord. But the second thing he says, I will seek after. It's not just a casual looking for something, but it's a desperate search for something that's lost. And then he says this, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord. The word dwell is the idea of resting comfortably, to sit back and just relax. That's the kind of passion that David had in regards to his devotional time with the Lord, his time in God's presence. If there's one thing we know about David, he was passionate about his relationship with the Lord. He is described as a man after God's own heart. So how do you and I get to that point where our desire, our passionate pursuit of the Lord is the one thing, the most important thing, the biggest thing of our day, where we long for that? We get ourselves up earlier, we change our schedule because it's a desperate desire to be in the presence of the Lord. How do we get to that? Well, here's the irony. The irony is it's prayer. In other words, we have to ask God to give us the desire to pray. It sounds terrible, but we're actually that desperate, where we have to say, Lord, it's not one of my greatest desires, and I want you to change that. Would you give me a desire for your presence? And that's what David had. That's what David asked for. And that's what you and I often lack in our desire, is desire. We lack that passionate pursuit, that longing to be in the presence of the Lord. So why don't we do that? Why don't we add that to the top of our prayer list? When we begin each day, why don't we say, Lord, I'm just going to be honest, I'm struggling. Would you give me a heart's desire to pray? Would you give me a heart desire to be in your presence? Would you change me? Would you give me the same pursuit, the same passion that David did? I believe that when you and I are honest enough and come to the Lord with that prayer request, that we'll see a change. God longs to give us the longing to be in his presence. So let's do that. And until tomorrow, let's pray more than we did yesterday, and we'll see you soon.